Hello, and welcome to this quick introduction session for the database Health Business Elite, which is an EBSCO product that is now available at all three Unity Health Toronto sites. My name is Michael Myers, and I'm an information specialist at Unity Health Toronto Library Services, and I'll be walking you through this session on Health Business Elite. So we would like to begin with an acknowledgement on the land on which we work, study, and live. Since this workshop is being held online, a singular land acknowledgement does not capture the richness of our distribution across many locations. There are a few places on Earth that someone before us has not called home. As many of us are located in Toronto, we would like to share the land acknowledgement that we use at Unity Health Toronto. And participants are invited to consider their own position with regard to the land where they find themselves. So we acknowledge that the land we work on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. So let's get into the database a little bit. As the name suggests, Health Business Elite is a database that provides information on the business side of healthcare. Health Business Elite provides comprehensive journal content detailing all aspects of healthcare administration and other non-clinical aspects of healthcare institution management. It is an indispensable resource for both healthcare professionals and researchers. Here's a list of the journals and subjects covered by this database. So if we go here, you can see that Health Business Elite has a really comprehensive journal coverage, and you can see all the titles of the serials that are covered within this database, as well as the indexing and abstract scope and where there's full text. So this is just a quick link that you can use to see if the serial that you're looking for is included in Health Business Elite. And then if we go over to the subjects one, you can see the subjects that are covered within Health Business Elite. And as I was saying, you can see it's a very business side of healthcare. You see management, business, organizational study, economics, health economics, medical law, environmental health, international law. So there's lots of different types of subjects here that you might not see in other medical databases, because this database is more focused on the business side of healthcare. So let's jump back over and learn a little bit more about Health Business Elite. So as I was mentioning, there's a lot of different subjects and journals that are covered in this Health Business Elite database. But just for some specifics, there's over 590 full text journals. There's 706 index journals. It covers public health, business practices. It includes graphs, illustrations, charts, diagrams, photographs, maps. It talks about marketing, public policy, facilities management, hospital administration, hospital management, economics, computer technology, and as well as insurance. And also it's updated daily. So you can see that there's lots of new additions coming every day. So it's a really great database to have in your arsenal because of these reasons. But one of the most popular journals that is accessible through this database is Harvard Business Review. And we have full text access to this periodical all the way back till 1922. And I'll demonstrate how you can find this journal in a bit. But let's first navigate to the database from the three different library websites. So if you're coming from Providence or St. Joseph's or St. Michael's, you'll see how to get to this database based on your site. So let's begin with St. Joseph's. So if you're from St. Joseph's, you just navigate to the library homepage, which is library.stjoestoronto.ca. And then you can scroll down here and there's a list of databases, and there's Health Business Elite, or you can go up to resources, databases, and you can click the H for Health Business Elite. So now if you're coming from Providence, you would come from the Providence Library webpage, which can be found here. And if you scroll down, you can see there's their database sections here. You can click on this button here, and you'll be redirected to a list of databases, and there is Health Business Elite. And if you're coming from St. Michael's Hospital, you start from the library homepage, and you can go under Find Databases. and you can see the list of databases that are available for St. Michael's, and then there's Health Business Elite. And as I said, it's a new database for Providence and St. Michael's. St. Joseph's has always had Health Business Elite, but through collection harmonization work at the library, we've introduced Health Business Elite at St. Michael's and Providence. So this is new for St. Michael's and Providence users, but this might be some review for St. Joseph's users. So let's go into the database now that we've navigated to it. All right, so now that we are on the database homepage, you can see a lot of things that you're probably familiar with. It defaults to the advanced search feature, and you can choose your field options here. Yeah, so you can choose your field options here, and you have alt text, author, title, subject terms, geographic terms, abstract or author supplied abstract, ISSN, ISBN, journal name, or ascension number. So you have all those options that you normally have in EBSCO databases, and then you can add different lines into your search using the Boolean operators and or not. So you have lots of options there to play around with as a normal database offers. Something that this database has that not all databases have, but you might be familiar with, is subjects or thesaurus. So this just really allows you to find the controlled vocabulary or the subject heading terms that are used within this database. So you can search for something and it will tell you what to use instead, and you can go into search term and like vaccines. So if we go into vaccines, you can see the broader and narrower terms, and some of them also offer related terms as well. As you can see here, when you should use what, and then you can see some related terms there. So if you click explode, exploding just really means that it's going to be searching all of the terms that fall under vaccines, so all of the narrower terms. So it's really just going to pick up everything if you choose to explode it, or you can just choose the regular vaccines if you want, and you can add that to your search. So you can click that and add to search if you'd like by clicking add, and then you go up here, see you have the DE, which stands for subject term, vaccines, and then you can add a second one if you'd like. If you wanted to do maybe, oh, that's not what I wanted, the flu. If you want influenza, so if you want to use flu, use influenza, you can go into it and click it. You can just click it from there, or you can learn a little bit more about it and see the broader terms, narrower terms, and you can see used for, and there's also a scope note there. We can click it and also add to our search there. So we can do vaccines and influenza. So we change the Boolean operator and now we have two subject terms that are searched with the Boolean operator and we can do a search for that if you'd like. And you can see how it's searched right there, and we have 104 results. So talking about COVID-19, you know, that's very popular right now, so that doesn't surprise me that it's the top hit. But that's just how you can kind of use the subjects to get some controlled vocabulary and use the add to search function. If you wanted to see some publications that exist within the database, so basically the same thing as this list here, you can go to publications and you can search or browse for some of the publications that exist within this database. So let's just search for the Harvard Business Review, because that's a journal I've already mentioned, and here you go. So you can see the bibliographic information of this periodical. You can see the ISSN, you can see how the full text is. So we have, like I said, from 1922 to present, and you can just see some more information here, and then you can browse by year if you want. There's lots there, but that's just one way you can find Harvard Business Review. I'm going to show you a couple other ways as well, but one way, once you find the serial that you're looking for, you can just click this hyperlink up here, search within this publication, and it redirects you back to that home page with the advanced search with the journal name Harvard Business Review already selected. And then you could put and vaccines, and you can do a search. So now we're going to be seeing results from the Harvard Business Review that are talking about a vaccine. So the CEO of Pfizer on developing a vaccine in record time, that's obviously very related. So you only have 5 results here, but they're probably very COVID related, but this one, you know, is very timely. So that's just one way you can use publications to search, but you can also use the advanced search as well. So the next feature that I want to highlight is company profiles. So if we go to company profiles, you can see that there's some MedTrack reports on the businesses that are part of this database. So, you know, we were talking about Pfizer. So let's search up Pfizer's medical MedTrack report. Okay, so Pfizer Canada Inc., if you click on it, you can see their business report. And it varies for each company how extensive it is. And I will just give a little caveat here is that these have not been updated since 2019. So it might not be the most relevant information, but it could get you in the right place if you want to learn something about the companies. So nothing here is going to talk about COVID-19, but it does give you some of the company structure and some of the company personnel that work for Pfizer Canada, as well as some news. But this was last updated in 2019, so it doesn't reflect any of the COVID-19 aspects of Pfizer. But you can still get these reports if you are interested in learning a little bit about some healthcare businesses. And if you click on the hyperlink here, you can learn a little bit more within the record itself. It talks about products and services, and a little bit of an abstract here. So that's just one way that you can find some company information using Health Business Elite. There is another way you can do it within the search results, and I'll show that in a second. But the last thing I want to show before we talk more about the search options and the results page is this images tab up here. So one cool thing about Health Business Elite is that you can actually search for images and tables that exist within articles based on keywords. So this would be a really great way if you just wanted to see some data, but not so much interested in actually reading the article, we can do that. So I'm going to type in COVID-19 vaccines because I want to see some tables or illustrations from articles about the COVID-19 vaccine. And down here, I'm going to limit my results to charts and graphs because I'm mostly interested in that kind of information. So now I'm going to do a search for that. And as you can see, it's pulling, my results page is pulling up images found in article that are talking about the keywords that I entered, which was COVID-19 vaccine, with the limiters that I applied, chart and graph. So you can see that it's pulling up charts and graphs within articles that have to do with the COVID-19 vaccine. So now we can see the percentage of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered by race and ethnicity and week in North Carolina as of December 14th, 2020 to April 6th, 2021. So you can see some information about the demographics of people that are accepting the COVID-19 vaccine in North Carolina. So that's just one way. That's just a cool thing you can do with Health Business Elite to see some information in a chart, graph, image, map. You have all those options that you can play around with. So this is just another example here, you know, exactly. Significant decrease in positive cases following vaccinations. So as you can see, the predicted and actual, so that's great JIP. So just an interesting way of seeing information in Health Business Elite that I wanted to present to you. Okay, so let's go back to the advanced search options here and play around with some of the options that we have available to us for searching. So as you probably can see here, there is some filtering options. You can choose your publication type. You can limit your results to full text, and you can even do PDF full text in number of pages, peer-reviewed publication, published date. And again, here are those image filters that we had on the image only searching, but they're also down here at the bottom. So let's do a search. So I'm looking at, I want to see periodicals, and I want to see some full text, and I want to see the PDFs of those, and then I want to see articles from the Harvard Business Review, but I only want to see them from 2020. So I'm interested in looking at all of the Harvard Business Review articles that were published in 2020 that we have full text access to. So you can do all that searching here without entering a keyword. So this is a really great way of browsing opposed to searching if you know what you're looking for. So now we are just searching for searching within the Harvard Business Review. So as you can see, these will all be published in 2020. We have full text access to them. So you can see, you know, gender equity is not zero sum. Women are better leaders during a crisis. So very interesting 2020 perspectives here. And it's, again, from a healthcare business perspective from the Harvard Business Review. So that's just one way you can use those filtering options to, you know, limit your searches and browse opposed to doing specific searches. So that's just some way you can use that as well. But let's go back because I want to do a search outside of a periodical. So I'm just going to do a regular search, and I'm going to do it for cardiology. And then I'm just going to do a search as a keyword. And you can see got lots of results, but not as much as other databases. So, you know, with the specific scope of Health Business Elite, you're not getting an overwhelming amount of results, which I think is a really great thing about this. So I just want to just demonstrate some features that exist on the results page on a regular search. So as you can see on the sidebar here, you have what you search for, cardiology, and it's going to apply equivalent subjects, but you can have your limiters here by, you can do the source types if you're just looking for academic journals or newspapers. You can limit by subjects. You can do cardiology, United States health diseases. You can choose a publication if you're interested in that, a publisher, and a language here as well. So those are just some options that you have available to you. And also, I just wanted to highlight with Health Business Elite, if you do a search that is related to a business that they have within their database, you can see the company profiles on this side here. So if I click this, you can see that they are suggesting that the American College of Cardiology is related to my search, which it would be because it's cardiology. So right from the results page, I could quickly go to the business page for the American College of Cardiology and see their MedTrack report if I was interested. So that's just another way that you can see those company profile reports if you're interested in that information. So it will populate any related company profile to your search on the side here. So I think that's just a really cool feature of Health Business Elite. And you'll also have some personalization options here. You can save it to a folder, and then you can go to the folder and you can play around with that. So that's a great way of saving some information if you'd like. You can export it, email, print. So you have those options like other databases do. And then just going back to here, you know, if you go into the article itself, you'll see some bibliographic information on a more detailed report. So you can see on the tools here, you can put it in your Google Drive, you can remove it or add it to your folder, print, email, save, cite, export, and permalink. So you can cite it with different types of citation formats. You can use the permalink to share it. Always use a permalink. Don't use the link that's on the top because that's just temporary. Always use permalink. But those are just some options that you have available to you when you click the actual article. And if you create an account with Health Business Elite, you can not only save information, but you can also update your preferences, and you can also save searches, rerun searches, create alerts, and everything that you might want to do with a database so that you can save in all your research and rerun it if you see next fit, but you do have to create a personal user sign-in, which just need to use your email. It's taking a little while to load here, but if you feel like you want to use those features that are available to you, you can just set up an account and you'll still have access because you're associated with St. Michael's Health Science Library or St. Joseph's or Providence. And yeah, that is Health Business Elite. I think it's a really strong database to have in your arsenal to see a different side of the healthcare profession. You can see some business aspects of it, and the subjects, publications, company profile, images make it a really strong database that allow you to search it in different ways. And you have your search options down at the bottom, as well as your personalization options on the results page if you choose to make an account. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to this introductory class. Please feel free to attend any of our upcoming classes. This is July 28th, so our upcoming classes for today are Access Medicine, Natural Medicine, another Health Business Elite, and CML Complete coming up. So lots of database classes coming up. But no matter what time that you're watching this class, you can always go to the library websites to see our upcoming instructional sessions. They change all the time, and we love to offer new classes, and we love to hear from you if you want us to create a class for you. So just get in touch if you have an idea of a class that might be beneficial to you. But thank you so much for attending this introductory session for Health Business Elite. My name is Michael Myers, and you can contact me at michael.myers@unityhealth.to, or you can contact the library using our generic email or phone call, or come into the front desk and we can answer any of your questions. And thank you so much.